Welcome everyone to another Thursday evening live stream. Bitcoin is in a very interesting spot with the month end and for that matter the end of quarter one for 2024. So I want to take a look at Bitcoin on several different time frames, looking at some structure levels I'm watching, as well as taking a look at some of my favorite indicators and what they're saying as always. At the time of starting this video, as I just mentioned to you guys, I'm currently in a bit of a long scalp, but that's on the 1 minute, so we'll see what happens there. Stop loss is already in a small profit, so I can focus on this, but we will take a look at that as well and why I entered and that sort of thing. With that, as always, we're going to start by looking at the weekly chart here. You'll notice I have a few different things mapped out. I'm actually going to delete these fibs just because I've had them on there for so long. Anybody who's been in any of my recent 40 or 50 videos and streams, you'll know what I'm getting at with those. But basically this entire trend, guys, I was just mentioning to you guys before the stream here that I'm actually quite bullish on Bitcoin and why I'm feeling that way. Basically, I've been bullish on this whole trend. A lot of you guys who have been a part of this group since late 2022 are going to remember that I was already getting very bullish, especially when we kind of got this break. And, you know, I've been bullish for basically this whole term. Obviously, there's times where you have your pullbacks. I'm not afraid to short. Hell, I took a couple different shorts yesterday alone. So I am willing to trade the market both directions, but as a whole, I'm more favoring the upside when I'm looking for those longer running positions sort of a thing. But you guys know I don't trade the weekly chart or the monthly chart, even the daily chart or anything like that. I'm obviously on the shorter time frames, higher leverage, kind of doing that thing, get in, get out sort of a thing. But keeping in mind, you know, what to expect with the market going forward. And basically what I'm seeing right now is, yes, one thing to keep in mind, we're obviously trading at significant resistance, right? I mean, the fact is that here, you know, we had this little fake out. This is back last market cycle. We had this little fake out before the bear market started, really. And we have very recently, obviously, this red horizontal resistance line I have mapped out. We did actually get that fake out there again. But interestingly enough, we aren't really seeing a harsh rejection there. And what I mentioned to you guys, I think ever since basically we were trading kind of, I think when we broke above this wick here, this was actually the only time in this whole market cycle where I was actually more bearish than bullish, but it was even looking at a midterm thing. But I was very clear, you know, when we get a candle close above that, that invalidates that theory. And I mean, just look how accurate that was. As soon as we got that weekly close above that level, I mean, that's that 618. Sorry, I will bring up the Fibonacci once during this video. Pulled top to bottom, looking for that resistance. Oh, I actually have to even add the 618 because I started taking that out. But you can see that's where we ended up getting rejected, just like in several different market cycles. But you can see, and I go over this every stream, whenever we get a weekly close above that level, it just seems to be off to the races. That being said, I said, you know, I was expecting that we would struggle with all-time highs for about a month, and that's pretty much at this point exactly where we're at. This is week 4 of struggling at this all-time high level. And I mean, looking back at the previous market cycle, you can see this happened. It's obviously a very strong level of resistance. There is absolutely no denying that, you guys. Obviously, because it was the all-time high. I mean, obviously we're going to struggle at that level. People are going to be trying to short it, looking for those double tops, looking for the big rejection, bears in disbelief, whatever. But the fact that we're testing all-time highs, I just don't see why a market cycle would end there. You know, way before the halving, before the biggest fundamental I actually do care about with Bitcoin. Before that even happens, to think that the bull market is over, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I really think we're just getting started. I think we'll see plenty of 30-40% corrections. Absolutely, that would be totally normal. But, you know, we're just still staircasing higher, really right at this point. Even if we pull back down to these levels where this green box is, I mean, that's just our confirmed higher low here. We had this high, we had a higher high, we had a higher high. That brings, you know, we had this low, we had a higher low. This is not a confirmed higher low yet. I do not consider that a higher low until we've broken above this high. If we set a higher high, I will absolutely consider that my new higher low. Until that happens, not that interested in that level, to be honest. So yeah, as it stands, Bitcoin just keeps staircasing higher. The fact that we're trading at the biggest resistance in Bitcoin history, because it is the all-time high, the fact that we're not seeing that harsh rejection, right, guys? I mean, yes, bears love to jump out the window, take the elevator, however you want to say it. Bears love to nuke. They act very fast. And the fact that we're just kind of testing that resistance and just chipping away at it. I know I've heard Sammy Loyal use this reference before, that, you know, if you take a hammer against a block wall, for example, or a concrete floor or whatever, and you give it a whack, it might not go, but if you sit there and you keep hammering away at it, eventually that's going to break, right? And I mean, I've always kind of remembered that and those analogies that he makes, because, you know, there's a good point there, and that's very often what happens. The more we test that level, the more likely we are to eventually break it. So as it stands right now, I think Bitcoin's in a beautiful place. I could see potential resistance up here, kind of around that 87 towards 90,000 US dollars. I want to be clear about this. I am not with the whole Gareth Soloway thing, whatever, how he likes to map out random trend lines and thinks that he's just going to blind short them and stuff like that. That's not how I'm trading. I'm not looking at taking a blind short at this level as resistance. I only have this mapped out here because Bitcoin, you know, as we're breaking all-time highs here, we're in price discovery. We don't have any structure to reference. So I'm just looking at, you know, here's two resistance points. You guys know when I'm mapping out chart patterns more so, I like to use exact touch points of wicks. So that's just basically why I'm looking at that, you know, it's just potential resistance. Watch how it's acted with. But, you know, if we get a third touch of this, come back down and then break it, we now have our 3 touch points, and that's where I'm considering it a valid break. And if we can flip that resistance into support, I think that's where shit goes absolutely parabolic. Obviously anything can happen between now and then, and obviously that does not have to happen. The market does not give a shit what I think. These are just things that I'm just looking out for, basically, on a longer time frame here. I want to bring up the indicators here. You know, another thing that I want to point out here, I don't know why I've never brought this up before. The trend collection is one of my favorite indicators to use when I'm trading actively. I've never brought it up on the weekly chart here, but just look at this. I'm going to remove all the drawings. Let's go back to the start of Bitcoin and look how accurate these signals have been on the weekly chart. I guess this would be the first one. There's our buy. Look at that beautiful call there. That's obviously just beautiful bull market signal. Here before, I remember being in the market at these levels, and I remember taking that deep plunge to the downside. That's an absolutely phenomenal call there, looking for that descending triangle, basically. The only time that this indicator has been incorrect was basically it got faked out right here when we had the big COVID crash. Other than that, every signal has been absolutely spot on. And yes, they did happen before big nukes, like the sell signal here. I mean, look at that dump to the downside it called. And again, flipping bullish, and look how strong this trend is holding. I really don't think this trend is all that overextended yet when you're really zoomed out on a weekly chart or a monthly chart like this. I personally believe that Bitcoin is going to have a very strong year. I strongly believe that the bull market will end this year. I think it will be closer to the end of this year. Obviously, I'm happy if I'm wrong about that. But as I sit here right now, I personally believe that it's going to be a very strong uptrending market for most of the year. And I'm way more interested in playing longs at this time because I just have so many of the same feelings that I had back here at these levels. Right now, this just reminds me of last all-time highs so much. I remember how I felt in this market conditions here, and I longed the shit out of this market and played it very well. And I feel like that's the exact same thing that's going to be happening here. Is I really feel like it's going to be a strong trend to the upside. Obviously, I have to say it, none of this financial advice. Always do your own research, form your own opinions. But that is just what I'm thinking. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm trading on shorter time frames anyways, but I have zero concerns about the health of Bitcoin moving forward for basically, like I said, the majority of this year personally. So that's where I stand on the longer time frames. Let me just catch up here. Ping moving. Nice. I'll check that out in a little bit here. How do I get my indicators looking the same as yours with the colors I've set? So that's actually the trend dynamic indicator. The only things I have active on this are the reversal warnings. That's those yellow W's. And I have the candle color at gradient 1. And I've inverted the colors. That's why my candles look so beautiful like that. I just fucking love the way these charts look with these indicators. And then trend collection, the only thing I've done with the trend collection indicator, I used the optimized preset, selected scalp, and I checked enable, and that way it just auto sets everything. So that's all I've done with those indicators. Oh, welcome back. Long time no see indeed. Hopefully you've been well. Delta volume candles. Yeah, I haven't really dug into those too much. I don't want to fart around with them too much in this video because I'll just get confused myself while I'm playing with it and then waste a bunch of you guys' time. But yeah, absolutely love these indicators. And honestly, I say this all the time, even if I didn't want the indicators, I would honestly be willing to pay for these things just for the way the charts look. It is so freaking beautiful. Absolutely love them. But yeah, let's start zooming in from there, you guys. That's my thoughts on the weekly. Morning, Cause. Welcome back. Check the back test of the scalp preset. It can be improved. Yeah. I also don't know why it says win rate 50% because every single one of those was a beautiful call other than the one. But yeah, even this call right here, 1600%. Man, yeah, those are beautiful. Okay, anyways, as I said, I am going to zoom forward to the daily chart. Another thing I want to point out here that I talked about last video is we just have such a beautiful trend on the daily chart. Basically, I mean, look at this. When we look at the trend collection indicator down here, look at this. We had this buy signal. That's where it reversed. Here we had lower sell signals, lower buy signals. Buy signal, higher buy signal, higher buy signal. Perfect double bottom buy signal. Basically, buy signals trending to the upside, sell signals trending to the upside, reversal warnings trending to the upside. Just basically everything on these indicators, the way I have them set up on the daily chart, are trending to the upside. There's just so much momentum here. Even looking at the oscillator stack down here, I mean, we have this big, beautiful green money cloud in the middle of the indicator here. As well, we got this little green dot, which often those end up being little continuations. And so, yeah, everything I'm seeing on the indicators just points that I have no reason to step out onto the train tracks in front of this beast. The trend is your friend until the end. You're only going to be right about a reversal once. And so many people are so desperate to catch that reversal when the trend is right in front of us, especially with these indicators and just noticing how to spot trends with them and that sort of thing. You know, it's just such a powerful thing to be able to play the trend. Let's just zoom in a little bit further. I'm just going to remove the drawings here. Let's check out what the 4 hour's saying. You know, same thing here. What I love to see is, you know, we've had these sell signals, higher sell signal, higher sell signal, higher sell signal. So I'm not really taking each individual signal serious, but using them to spot a trend, I think, is where this really shines. So we have the uptrending sell signals, uptrending buy signals, W's are starting to show that they want to trend to the upside again. I mean, again, guys, we're just seeing such beautiful trends here. Look how long this was. This is a 4-hour chart, you guys. After we started getting those W's trending to the upside along this buy signal, just look at all those beautiful entries. Yeah, you have these fake outs, I guess, you know, longer time frames. I'm more looking at longer time frames as far as spot, more so than leverage trading. You guys know I use high leverage, so I'm really zoning into the smaller time frames with much shorter invalidation levels. But as far as looking for spot levels, I mean, anytime we came back to this trend, just absolutely beautiful entries. And it just looks the same right now. You know, we came back down to this trend with a higher buy trend. I mean, trend is your friend until the end. Core trend indicator also flipped green here. So yeah, there's a lot going for the bulls right now, in my opinion, on those longer time frames. Obviously, anything can happen on the shorter time frames, but actually, one thing that I wanted to bring up, speaking of the longer time frames, is I wanted to look at the monthly chart, you guys, because this closes in 3 days. And again, look at where we are. Let's just make a all-time high resistance here. So obviously we can still fake out here, but for a monthly candle to close above all-time highs, that is very serious structure. And yes, we will see some kind of a pullback, in my opinion. Obviously, the bulls and FOMO might get carried away, but it would be totally natural to see a pullback into the candle after it closes. If we end up closing above this red line, I absolutely see no reason why we couldn't test back down, kind of fill where this wick went up to, sort of a thing. But let's just go back and look. I honestly have not looked at this before, but I just want to see what happens, you know, when we end up closing weekly or monthly candles above all-time high. I guess this one was very borderline. That's something that we have to watch for right now, and that is a little sketchy. Unfortunately, there's no clean break above till way up here. But again, just several more months after that. Let's see what happened back here. Close above all-time high. Yeah, like I said, come back into the candle and test it, and then just blasts off from there. So even back here, I mean, I guess that was only one candle. So yeah, I mean, let's see, way back here, get that close above, beautiful signal. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think everything on the longer time frames just points to a very bullish year for Bitcoin, and we're gonna have to see what happens there, I guess. Are you taking some profits at Stuber Fibs? Ooh, I should check on my position. Hey, let's check out the money. Whoa, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to close another third of my position just so I can relax a little bit here. Because, there we go, close half, because I'm in a 30% profit right now. Just took a little more off the table. Just gonna leave my stop loss down here because honestly, I just hope it keeps running. And if anything, you know, it will. If we get some sort of a higher sell signal and followed by a higher buy signal, again looking for which way the trend is, which way the indicators are showing a trend, then I would like to add back into my position. And this would just give me a little bit of a cushion because if I take a new entry, then this would help keep my average entry down. But I'm not going to add to it yet or anything. In fact, like I said, I just took a little profits off the table. When I'm trading a 1 minute chart, you guys, this is, in my opinion, I think why people struggle with trading shorter time frames is one, everybody likes to hit a home run. So people don't like the idea of entering a position on a 1 minute chart and taking profits within 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Which is totally natural in my opinion. Remember, if you're entering positions on a certain time frame, remember to play that time frame. You're not, I say this every single stream, but I think it's so important. We have new faces here sometimes in some of these weekly streams and stuff. So I think it's super important. If you're playing the 1 minute, play the 1 minute. You know, you're not looking for that 1 minute entry and holding on to it for a 4-hour breakout. That's not how trading works. Remember to trade what you're trading. So I have absolutely no problems taking profits quickly. Just to, for one, remember to pay myself, and two, de-risk myself, I find even more important. There's so often that I'm in a very small profit and I end up closing a quarter of my position just because something happened, something sparked my interest. I'm not confident in my position anymore, anything like that. I will often close a quarter of my position in that case, just to, if nothing else, even if I'm not adjusting my stop loss yet, just to get a little risk off the table, both for having a smaller position running forward if it gets stopped out, as well I've paid myself a little bit out of the position, which also helps counter it. So just a form of de-risking. But I often close a quarter to half of my position very quickly when I'm scalping like this, and then I hope to catch a runner with the other half. And if it happens, great, but you just can't bank on hitting those home runs. I don't like closing a full position. I almost never close a full position because I always want to be open for that home run if the pitch is thrown, kind of a thing, right? So just kind of how I scalp. And, you know, here's a bunch of examples here. Well, here, let me explain why I took this position. Basically the same thing. No time traveling goes. Someone just got screwed. So why I took this position is basically I was looking at, like I said, what the indicators are doing, kind of change direction here. We got this sell signal with a higher sell signal, and we had this buy signal with a higher buy signal. So I was just looking at the trend of these indicators saying that, hey, it looks like things are trending to the upside. And even though we came back down lower, well, I did end up taking a trade up here, as you can see as well. I had this Stuber fib, but like I said, I take profits very quickly on part of my position, got stopped out on the rest. Come down here. Even though we had this sell signal, we still never had a lower buy signal. So I was still looking at the trend being to the upside. So I was looking for a reason to flip into a long again. And basically, when we reclaimed this sell trend line, I just figured, you know, I just had a feeling that we were about to print a higher buy signal. I've been kind of staying one step ahead of these lately because I've been using this so much and seeing how they print and stuff. And that's basically what led me to take this position. And like I said, I closed a third here, stop loss down here on the rest. It's a risk-free trade. So yeah, that's basically what made me take that. Anyone else in any interesting leverage positions or anything? Chasing the price action with stop losses nowadays because I like action. I am action. I don't understand these people who don't play in the wonderful lower time frames. I'm with you. I totally understand because, you know, there's one thing about it, you guys, is when you're trading the 1 minute or really the 5 minute, anything lower like that, or some of us lower, when you're trading those lower time frames, you have to be a very reactive trader. It's not so much a set a trade and walk away from it, go to bed, go out with friends, whatever. That's really not how trading the shorter time frames work. Basically, anytime I'm looking, when I enter a position, I'm basically looking for reasons to get out. And that's another reason why I say a lot of people struggle with trading shorter time frames. Is I personally think the absolute, and I know we've talked about this in a previous stream as well, absolute most difficult thing to do as a trader, getting into positions is easy. Taking profits when you have them is the hardest thing. Correct me if anyone thinks I'm wrong there, but I think it's so hard to fight that greed. And when you're in a winning position, it's hard not to double down. When you feel like doubling down, there's a good chance you're supposed to be, you know, taking some off the table instead, basically. That's the way I see it. But yeah, if you can, you know, be quickly taking profits and that kind of thing and then letting some run, that can be a great thing. And it just helps you keep a level head, right? You can, you know, trading the 1 minute chart on 69x leverage like I do all the time. A lot of people's heart can't take that, and mine probably couldn't either if I was, you know, just hanging on for dear life and hoping to catch ridiculous swings on the 1 minute. laddering into positions often, but when it comes to exit positions, I am more an all or nothing type. Yeah, honestly, my thing with that is, and that's why I like the Stuber fibs so much, is you guys know I've showed them many times and whatnot. What I really like about them is how structured they are, and like although, well, when I get into those positions, usually I ladder into those for one, but then also just having those fibs up there really reminds me that usually the market is ranging. So, you know, I got to remember to take profits while I'm still basically playing the range until it breaks, but leaving some open to catch that breakout if it happens. Because, you know, even if it's just a quarter of a position, but just leaving some run, because so often, like, you know, a trending position is where you see your big gains. Trading the ranges, yeah, you can absolutely scalp a bunch and that sort of thing. But if you can also catch like a bigger trending position or a bigger trending running position, that's just where you see crazy gains real fast. So even if it's like, you know, I think this is going to reverse, and myself included, like, you know, here I absolutely see reason why we could reverse here for a little while. But I'm leaving my position run, even though it's just a third of a position, right? Because I am absolutely open to the idea of this reversing. Specifically, even just looking for a Stuber fib right now, I feel like we're very close to one. Yeah, we just tested one right there. It's just I would rather have this position running, and you can see I have a little wiggle room, so still my invalidation level, even a little extra wiggle room, just because I remember to pay myself, so I don't feel obligated to update my stop loss too much. Oh, I gotta catch up on some messages here. Just getting a little background noise, so gonna do a little muting. Let me know if anyone needs to chat or anything. No position. Last few days exhausted. Yeah, you know, that's another thing too. You know, even if you're making good money on trading excessively, it is still very stressful. Even if it is successful, like you said, it can still be very stressful. So sometimes you just gotta take a recharge break, get away. I don't even know if I'm gonna have service tomorrow, where I'm going with the fam and stuff. So I might just, yeah, disconnect as well, right? It's good to get away for a little bit, refresh. Don't get you started on taking profits. You fucked up major with Brett. Oh man, I fucked up on several coins. Don't feel bad. That happens. I will check out Brett in a little bit. 24 hours. Yeah, it looks like so far we're testing the 886 with the reversal warning here. If we were higher up, like we broke structure again, and then I had a Stuber fib like this, I would add to my position, but I don't want to open myself up to risk right now. I would even consider pulling it a little bigger, just from the actual bottom of this range. In which case my invalidation level's a little bit further, but whatever. Like I said, I don't really want to lose my position anymore at this point. I think this one still is valid because, you know, technically we do have the break of this higher high, and then we have a break of this higher high, which means this right here is my confirmed higher low. But again, that is the 1 minute too, right? So the 5 minute is probably down here, so it is possible we respect the bigger one. Sometimes it's good to check multiple time frames if you're looking at an entry on this sort of a thing. Before I check out Brett, I'll just check out Bonk with Hat just because I know I mentioned this in my previous stream. I think it's up about 30 or 40% right now from last week, and it really looks like it's barely moved. This thing could absolutely nuke to zero. The market cap's only 1.4 million, but you know, it's hanging out at horizontal support. It broke this downtrend. It's existed for a decent amount of time. It still has decent liquidity for the size of it. Still has a fair amount of holders. Trade volume really isn't all that bad for the size of it, so I'm still interested in holding that because, you know, even if it does pop back to all-time highs, I mean, easy 10x, but obviously doesn't have to happen, and these meme coins are sketchy as fuck. But yeah, let's check out Brett. I assume it's just this one because it's got a lot of liquidity and whatnot. Oh yeah, that's a wild chart. How much did that climb? 45x, hey? What do we got here? Market cap almost $500 million. That's a pretty high market cap. I wouldn't expect 100x out of it from here, that's for sure. I guess anything can happen. That would be, well, yeah. That'd be a crazy market cap though. A lot of holders, a lot of trade volume. Yeah, just looking at basic market structure, I mean, what can we find here? As far as the 4-hour goes, I don't consider that a higher high. That looks more like a liquidity grab, a failed break, a swing fail, whatever you want to call it. That's more so what I'm seeing here for now. Obviously, that can change. We close above that and, you know, the trend is your friend. I bet, actually, something that's interesting here, just on this climb right here, we technically did lose this higher low support, right? Because we had our high, higher low. We ended up dropping that. Watch what happens if I pull a Fibonacci. Oh, I guess this one won't have my invalidation fib. Oh, it does. The 1.15. And look, if you were able to short this, I don't know if you can or not, but that would have been an ideal Stuber setup, right? Just entering the 786, 886, and the full retrace. I've mentioned before that I like to ladder, like basically laddering heavier as I'm going closer to my invalidation level, and that's not saying I'm doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on my position. That's, I have a position size in mind, and I know you're not shorting this, but this is just theoretical for a classic Stuber setup. I would be looking at basically entering, like, let's say a 6 of a position at the 786, third at the 886, and half at the full retrace kind of a thing, because that'll really help pull that average entry. So rather than entering evenly, I can at least get my entry closer, more so between the 1 and the 886 rather than kind of between the 786 and 886. So that's personally how I like to do it anyways. But yeah, like I said, we're not shorting this. That's just a typical bearish setup that I look for. So, you know, don't be too surprised if this pulls back a little bit more. Let's check out some shorter time frames. Why 115 instead of 113? Honestly, I just picked 115 randomly. I used 110 for a while, and I found that it was just getting hit, so I used the 115. And I usually even leave a little more wiggle room than that, to be honest. It's just more so a visual reminder to myself to give wiggle room when I'm entering a position, basically. That's the main reason why I have it there. I mean, the thing is, we still have support here. Like this, I mean, this is a 4-hour chart. It's a fairly big market cap. It's got nice structure forming. Let's just check a shorter time frame, see what we got going on here. See, this is interesting because on the 1-hour chart, we do have this close above resistance here, right? The 4-hour doesn't, but the 1-hour does. So a couple things could happen. One, we might still be basically respecting this uptrend where we see this high, higher low. So potential support there. In which case, looking for some sort of an entry, you could do a fib pull. If you think it's going to recover very soon, I mean, we could kind of look at those levels. Even the 618 where it is right now. I mean, usually I assume you're trading this with spot anyways. I trade spot very different than I trade with leverage personally. But if we end up dropping this support here, I don't see why it wouldn't be a bigger fib pull, more something like that, where we actually retrace, you know, all the way back down towards these levels. Have to see what happens, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Either we find support very soon here and basically support, come back down, test that support, and carry on higher, basically right now, or we come back and retest some of these lower levels, in my opinion. Oh, Brett's on BitGet, hey? I haven't been on BitGet for a long time. And, you know, another one I was talking about, I bought a little bit of that Rocky the dog last night. Basically saw that we have this uptrend. You know, we have support touch here, got very close here, not quite, but we do have an exact touch there. And we ended up basically trading right along that support again. You know, we're just basically trading along support. Rocky has a $2.2 million market cap. Trade volume isn't great. Max supply is already out there. So I know a bunch of people in the group do hold that. I bought a little bit last night at these levels because I think we're kind of holding a flat support for now. I will be watching, for one, the core trend. It looks like we're trying to tackle this resistance again. You can see that we kind of lost momentum on the downside and it's starting to flatline here. I would love to see that flip green. And as well, the trend collection. We do technically have, so we have this sell signal. That is a higher sell signal there. And here we have this buy signal. I would love to see us set a higher buy signal, basically reclaim this indicator up here, see this blue line flip pink and flip into a buy signal. I think seeing a higher buy signal here would be absolutely beautiful. And I would actually be looking to double down on my position for that. That's my plans with that moving forward. Yeah, I think, yeah, Rocky did pump something like 12% today. Because I think I bought it last night right around that 0.002. And it's at 0.0022. So definitely a 10% or so. Let's check what the 1 hour is looking like. What did we get since we bottomed out? And you know, even look at that. So that was a 4-hour chart I mapped out. Look how well it's being respected even on the 1 hour. We got this failed break. Nice little liquidity grab. But again, then we just start holding it as support again. And now even starting to flip the core trend green. And we're starting to flip that blue line into pink. One thing to consider there is the sell signals and the buy signals would most likely still be trending to the downside at that point. But I think we're just at an important support level where that could change very quickly. So that's basically what I'm looking at there. But yeah, I'm waiting for a 4-hour. I want to see a 4-hour signal on that. And then I'll be looking at buying a little bit more. Because, I mean, let's just check what kind of a move. If we even... Well, all-time highs would be a crazy move. But let's say even to retest this resistance where we were at not long ago, that's almost a 300% move to the upside. Even if we stopped, I'm just going to eyeball a Stuber fib would be somewhere in there, a 200% move to the upside if we were going to do that. We see some kind of a breakout of the entire... Wow, that's interesting. That could... I don't know. I don't know how serious I would want to take this. But that's an interesting... Here, let me get this a little bit closer here. What kind of trend lines do we have? Even right to back here, we were respecting this as resistance. Just zooming out something like that. I mean, we're still looking at flipping some sort of a downtrend there. But again, I do want to see the signals start lining up, like see this higher buy signal on the 4-hour. That's basically what I'm looking for. And we could see some fireworks, hopefully. Peng, I will definitely check out Peng. I sold most of mine. I got an 11x out of it, but I should probably consider buying it again, hey? Ooh, yeah, that's looking like an interesting support level there. Yeah, even to get back to all-time highs, what are we looking at? That would be a 400% move to the upside again. Yeah, I'm gonna consider buying back into that. What do we have here? Market cap 42 million, almost 43 million. A lot of holders, a lot of liquidity, high trading volume. Yeah, obviously there's still a lot of interest around this. So to see us kind of getting back close to that support, let's just map out some support here. Something like that. I mean, we're getting very close to that level. I could absolutely see the argument that let's see if we can find any sort of downtrends that are broken. Obviously, we have these shorter term ones. Yeah, I mean, there's some that are there. They're just kind of, they're not super obvious, super clean, but it does look like we basically have some sort of a falling wedge pattern happening right now. Just a slow grind down towards support. Generally speaking, that's what you want to see, right? You don't really want to see the price kind of go straight up and then just nuke right down to support. That looks a little bit scary. But, you know, when the price just kind of slowly grinds down, you can just tell that there's not a lot of panic. There's just organic selling, just people holding off with their buying orders until support at that point, basically. So, yeah, that looks juicy to me. Oh, yeah, so this blue dotted line is where I got in last time. I haven't looked at this chart in a long time. But yeah, that looks juicy. That looks ready to find some support, in my opinion. Got in at 36 last night. Nice. Already sitting in a juicy profit. Still holding Peng. Yeah, I feel like Peng is due for a bounce any day. Oh, looks like I would have got stopped out on the rest of my long too, so I'm gonna have to scope something out or scope something new. Actually, let's just check. We were talking about this potential scenario. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. I'm gonna swing at a little scalp here. Invalidation. I'm gonna keep it fairly tight. I'll keep it. What did I get in at here? There's a good chance. I still think that we already lost the more important higher low there. But just because we're so low into a Stuber fib pocket like this, the invalidation is so tight that I feel like I may as well swing at something. 7771.7 is what I got in at. Let's see what happens. I'll hang out for a few more minutes. Should erase some of this other stuff. Clean up the charts a little bit. But yeah, another reason why I'm interested in swinging at this is just because we still have this trend as well, right? Even though we set this sell signal, it was in fact a higher sell signal. Our buy signals, this was a double bottom buy signal. They're perfectly in line with each other. So I'm gonna just hope that this upward sloping trend is still going, and I might get stopped out within a minute here. We'll find out. Even at 69x, that'll only be an 8% loss. And what did I take earlier? I already took... I've taken, I think, 3 or 4 trades today already. Had an 80%er and a 30%er, so if I lose 8%, I'm not all too worried about it because I'm really hoping this trend just continues. If not, then I'll have to reevaluate, see if we start seeing those signals continue trending or that sort of thing. I think there's a good chance we actually come down closer to these levels too. Like really when we zoom out, I mean the bottom of this kind of have support back down at this level I'd be looking at as far as a bigger move, but I'm just looking at a tight little scalp here. Not looking so hot. I have a feeling it'll be stopped out right away, especially the fact that we're just kind of staircasing, right? We set this low, we're now setting a lower low, lower high. If we close below this, obviously, in 10 seconds. 70.4. Yeah, I could absolutely see it. Basically what I'm looking for right now is I want to see a bounce right at the bottom of, you know, we're right at the bottom of my Stuber fib setups basically at this point. And if we break this level, I want to cut my losses. But what I'm really hoping to see out of this is getting back above this sell signal and then printing another higher buy is ideally what I want to see. But obviously the market doesn't give a fuck about my feelings, so we'll see what happens. Anyone else in any leverage positions? I know I asked earlier, but a lot can change over the course of an hour, so... A Sol long open? Let's check out Sol. I'm going to check it out on Bing's price chart. What kind of a time frame are you trading? Ooh, I like that the core trend is holding up. Again, looking at these indicators, higher buy signal, higher sell signal. Zeus, what kind of a time frame are you typically trading Solana at here? Grabbed it at 182. Oh, nice, nice. Trade the 5-minute down to the 10-second. Attaboy. 182. Oh yeah, so basically right at support here. Beautiful entry. Let's zoom in a little bit. Just to put it on 182. 180 stew. Basically right at support of this range. Nice. I like that, you know, we have the indicators going for you right now. We do have that higher sell signal. Not a higher buy signal yet, but it's trying to flip pink right now. Got the core trend. Same thing with this, you guys. You know, the core trend flipped bullish back here last time, and now it's flipping bullish here. So that's just another... you know, it doesn't really matter what signal. I kind of treat most indicators the same, where I'm just trying to use them to spot a trend. I'm noticing that the indicator looks like it's trying to hold support a little bit higher now. So we're looking at setting a higher low kind of a thing. Well, so far respecting it. And remember when I said I like to leave a little wiggle room below my 115? That's why right there. Yeah, let's check out a shorter time frame, more my style here. Let's hop in 5-minute. What do we got going on? Core trend trying to print a little bit of resistance. I see it flipping red there. The indicators, we do have higher buy signals, still have this this buy trend here. You know, something I like to do when I'm kind of chasing a position with a stop loss, if I don't want to take a loss, if I'm doing a trailing stop loss, I'll often look for a Stuber fib invalidation as well. So me personally, obviously you had a beautiful entry, you do you, absolutely. But this is kind of something that I typically like to look for. So it's like, you know what? If we end up dropping and losing this 115 or this support back here, that's kind of where I'd be looking at. Just cutting, well, I guess not cutting my losses, making sure that I lock in some profits. Just because, you know, we had this high, we have this higher high, higher low. Just looking at a Stuber fib invalidation for that type of a range, if that's where it's ranging right now, just to ensure that I end up locking in profits. But as it stands right now, still has the buy trend. We still see the W's trending to the upside as well, both on the top and bottom. I really like to see that. So that's another reason why I would like using this as a pivotal point when I'm checking my Fibonacci's, basically. Just the fact that that is our higher W here. If we end up losing that and sending a lower W, you know, there's just that extra warning that, you know, the W's may be trending to the downside all of a sudden. So they're just kind of giving that warning shot at that point. And that's just where I start to be a little on edge and, hey, I'm looking for reasons to kind of de-risk myself, sort of a thing. So that's just another reason why I pulled the fib there. I really want to see this flip that line. I'm probably only going to be live here with you guys for another 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just really curious to see what happens here. I'd like you guys to be with me if I get wrecked here. I'll need the emotional support. Actually, you know what, guys? Just to practice what I preach here and de-risking myself quickly, and since we did drop so far into my fibs rather than respecting the 786, 886, and we are coming up to this potential sell trend here, even though it is a higher sell signal, it is still just something to be a little bit cautious of. I am going to just close a quarter of my position, both to let me just get this out of there real quick here. Even though it's only sitting, or yeah, a quarter, even though it's only sitting at a 4% profit right here, I just wanted to de-risk myself a little bit there. So we'll see how the rest goes. I can always add back into my position if we do end up getting that higher buy trend signal. But as it stands right now, just it's hard to say what's going to happen with this sell signal. So just in case we're getting rejected here, I just wanted to de-risk a little. Like I said earlier in the stream, sometimes, you know, just a reactive type of trading, the fact that we dipped so low into here, it was just looking, there is some weakness there, even though it is a typical setup that I like to take. I just still like to de-risk quickly, right? Because if I'm entering my position at the 786 or 886, I'm basically looking at starting to take profits at the 0.5. So if I'm entering a position down at the full retrace, I just can't expect that we're gonna, you know, climb all the way up to my higher TPs is all. I'll take it. If it's gonna do it, I'll absolutely take it, but I like to give my heart a break. Why is that my fib? Just because I was kind of looking at, you know, I did like this as a higher low, but just since I figured that that's on the 1 minute, the 5 minute is probably using this as the higher low. So I was just looking at the higher low of this range before, you know, like this whole range before setting this higher range. So basically I wanted to pull my fib there, just giving a little extra room there, and so far it was actually the right call, so I'm glad I did that. But there's a little bit of luck there. There's always a little bit of luck in there, right? Look at that. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, it's still early to say, but I'd like to see this sell signal start flipping pink. That would just give me a little more confidence that the indicator is looking like it's about to print a higher buy signal again. Rocket Man, attaboy. Remember, I already de-risked a quarter just because, you know, we did see this little bit of weakness back here, but don't forget to take profits on the way. That's basically it, right? You're not looking for a home run. Absolutely be looking to scale out of your position. But like I said, I like to close half of my position very quickly, quarter to half of my position very quickly, and then I hope that the other half runs, basically. Or if I'm seeing signs of a reversal premature like that, then I'll look at closing a third quarter and just leave a quarter running or something like that. But like I said, trading the 1 minute is very reactive. It's not a set it and forget it kind of a lifestyle when you're doing that. So that's why I'm still here watching it with you guys, basically. Until I'm comfortable walking away from this position, I'll just sit here and babysit it for now. I mean, while we're sitting here and just watching a live chart here, anybody have any exciting Easter plans or anything? What's everyone up to this weekend? Can I talk a bit about options expiries in the next 8 hours? Man, I would love to, but I would just be taking a wild guess at how all that stuff works. I know that the quarter one is closing. Obviously, that sparks volatility and that sort of thing, but I have no idea how that's going to affect the market other than expect volatility, I guess. It's kind of like when I go to analyze the news, you know, when there's you know, number reports and inflation announcements and stuff like that. It's not so much, I don't know how to play it. I'm more of a read the charts and go from there. But I just acknowledge that, hey, there could be volatility looming because there's something big happening. However, the market makers end up driving it from there. I just look for that market structure to show me the way, because I don't know. I'll just, when I start analyzing other things other than the charts, I just confuse myself. That's just a second place where I can make mistakes. Oh, rafting and kayaking rivers, nice. I can't wait for summer again to do some kayaking on the rivers here. When they say max pain Bitcoin 50,000, I'm guessing like people are saying, oh, we're going to see max pain and everyone thinks we're going straight to the moon, but it's actually going to drop to 50,000 first. That's just my guess. I personally don't think that would be max pain. And I've actually been saying this since the beginning of 2023, maybe even late 2022. I said that everybody talking about max pain was about to experience max pain. Everyone was calling for 10K and how the market was going to experience that last push to the downside, and that was going to be max pain. I said it was going to be the exact opposite, because I was just thinking to myself, if I don't get in at these levels and all of a sudden my next validation of market structure, I'm going to miss a 2 or a 3x already. I was more so under the impression that max pain is the people who think they're going to get this magical dip that's supposed to be the pain. Just because people think that the price going down is always the maximum pain. I think it's the exact opposite when it comes to Bitcoin. I think the FOMO that people have and that sort of thing, I think max pain is not getting those dips and not getting into it. So I think the people who are going to be chasing it after the media says Bitcoin broke $100,000, those people are going to experience max pain. That's just my opinion. Let me just I don't think you guys can see. Can you see this? I don't know if it overlaps or if it's just showing you my charts still. Oh, still the chart. Yeah, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, the stream isn't bringing up the window. That's fine, though. On Friday, leading crypto exchange, options exchange Deribit will settle Bitcoin and Ether option contracts worth 9.5 billion and 5.7 billion. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to affect the market. Like I said, with the month close and the quarterly close and options expiring, I think it's just recipe for a big market move. And I think volatility is right around the corner. I think it's going to be explosive. I personally think it's going to be the upside just because, like I was talking about, I mean, this monthly candle closing in 3 days, I don't see how experienced options traders and market makers and stuff could see a monthly close above all-time highs and get bearish on it. That's just such serious structure. Such a serious structure change. Like I said, a pullback would be totally natural. If we closed right here, for example, and we do something like this, that wouldn't surprise me all too much at all. I'm just excited for volatility, period. I don't care if it's up. I don't care if it's down. I just like it volatile. Yeah, we're still seeing that weakness out of the sell signal. We never did get that blue line to flip pink. Still early here. Too soon to get the I don't know how long, I don't know what exactly triggers the line to change colors. If there's a certain amount of candles it has to hold above or something like that, I assume. But yeah, it never did flip pink and definitely never got that higher buy signal, so it's looking weak. Could I chart Brett on BitGet spot? Yeah, absolutely. Is this the one? Was that other Brett chart I was looking at was way different. Is this the one you were wanting?
Give me a sec, man. I'm on my mobile watching your stream, so my son's trying to handle what my hand and whatnot. Give me a sec.
Is it the one that absolutely nuked?
Yeah, I bought it at 0049 the other day. I took 1,200 bucks profit. I had 3K on it spot. and it absolutely ripped after I took profit on it, and I would have made like 30k or 40k.
Oh, that hurts,
Fucking,
hey?
fucking heartbreaking, man. So it's kind of like the reason why I'm being so pushy with you checking it out for me, because I'm like, fuck, I want to revenge trade this back and win again.
Yeah, as it stands right now, I'm just looking at the 5-minute chart. W's are trending to the downside. We still have a serious sell trend going on, and even if we get a buy signal, technically it's going to be a lower buy signal. There's a lot of things trending to the downside on the 5-minute, I'm not going to lie, but at the same time, we are basically coming towards a very what looks like basically all of its support. Like, I mean, there's definitely some price action down at these levels where hopefully it will find support. Hopefully it's not just dying kind of a thing. Yeah, I would really like to see it break some sort of a lower high at the very least. Yeah, let's check out a different time frame. I'll check out the hourly. Oh, man, yeah, hourly. Well, there's just not much price history there, so it's hard to see when we start zooming out like that. But yeah, basically we're trading right around support. Is it alive or dead? I have no idea. Like I said, the 5-minute, the indicators are still pointing down, in my opinion, but it does look like it's rounding as well, right? Like the sell-offs have been getting a little bit less aggressive. It's just if it breaks through some serious support here, which we are currently getting towards, then I don't know what happens. Hopefully it's just a quick fake out. Someone buys the dip up real quick kind of a thing.
I can holding this 60 zone, this 06 zone for people, just lure people into buy it again, and then I'm done.
Like, if, I mean, yeah, that's...
It feels like
it's
exactly
tough to
how
say
I
right
bought
now.
it.
It really looks like we're going to try and break it back above this sell trend, and in which case, obviously, if it flips to a buy trend, hopefully it does that move again, where it just absolute moonships again. But we're going to have to see at this point. Let's see if I can
I'm
find...
definitely watching it, yeah, sure.
See, I'm just seeing if I can find any sort of a downtrend. Maybe
not watching you on Discord. Yeah.
Sorry, what's that?
I'm not watching your stream. I'm actually just looking at my trading.
Oh yeah, all good. Yeah,
what
basically it just looks to me like the indicators are still trending down. It doesn't look great at this point, but obviously if that signal flips or something, maybe it'll gain some life again. Yeah, that's a cruel pump and dump. That is an entire retrace.
Oh, man, you have no idea. I had zero. I bought it like 2 days ago. I had bought it at 0.049. I sold out at 0.63, and then immediately after I sold it, it just ripped, like absolutely ripped. I just was heartbroken, man. Like, yeah, you're gonna stop, mate, please. Like I was $1,200 up, and it like literally was like 20k or 25k up. Oh my god.
Man, I've been there. If it makes you feel better, I sold most of my Cardano at about 3 or 4 cents. I sold most of my BNB at about $40. You know, I've held on to some coins. You know, I held some coins that did a 20x and went right down way below where I ever bought or anything and lost everything like that. Yeah, I mean that's part of the game.
I think it's brutal when it happens in a short period of time, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? It happens in like you're witnessing it in like a few hours or half a day. Oh no.
Yeah, that's quick. Oh, that hurts. Well, man.
Maybe wait for a little bit more to hit break.
What's that?
I'm gonna go another spot long on it. Maybe hold out a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like Me personally, anytime I'm trading these meme coins, I kind of just assume my position is gone. But that's just my look at it because I don't have a lot of faith in them, period. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at this point because, like, it's kind of at that teetering point, right? I don't want to tell you to panic sell the bottom. But if it breaks this support, if it is dead, I mean, that could nuke real fast. But I don't know. Support is support until it's broken, right?
I'm not in a position now. You know? I'm not in a position. I'm just waiting to see when I can get in again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's an option. Yeah, man, these meme coins are volatile and dangerous.
But that, out the window.
You know, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the stream, that I truly believe the hardest part about trading is taking profits. You know, even if you had these exact indicators up and you got a sell signal like this, you know, your urge is just to think, you're probably wrong. That sell signal, I shouldn't take that all too serious. It's so easy to get greedy, and especially when things are low market caps and those meme coins and stuff. It's so easy to think that they'll just keep running, basically, right?
Yeah, well, I've only come back to go after like 3 weeks, and like this is my first like good profitable trade, and I like was up $1,200 in a few like half a day, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna take it. So I took the profit, but obviously like I was at work at the time, so I couldn't start it or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
just absolute. So yeah, the lesson.
Well, that's unfortunately a part of the game, I guess, right? It's an unforgiving beast. Yeah, what is... Oh, man. Sorry, just going back to Bitcoin here. It's really just struggling at that level, but yeah, you guys can see this is obviously an important level. I would just really like to see us get above this blue line and hold it here. That would give me more confidence in this position, but... how often do those come back in the same day, these guys? I'd say it's more so usually they come back down this way the same day rather than coming back up to its previous prices the same day. Oh, I didn't realize there was other price action on... Oh, that's a weird looking chart. There must be something wrong with my chart here. Yeah, whatever. Back to Bitcoin. Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Is who knows what people are doing with the holiday coming up and stuff. Like, it's possible that maybe there is nothing wrong there and people are just taking profits before going and doing shit for the long weekend. Like, who knows, right? And like you said, Ronald, there's just the trade volume is probably just gone, probably non-existent now that everyone's doing family stuff and whatnot. I'll bring Solana back up. What time frame chart you got there, Zeus? 1 hour. Did this just print? Yeah, this higher buy signal must have just printed. Oh yeah, I guess we have been going for more than an hour. That makes sense. New candle print. Yeah, I like to see that. But obviously, I mean, if that trend reverses and you're in a position from down here or whatever, I mean, we could definitely still drop below that buy signal and still carry on that trend, right? I don't like that it's starting to look like we have downward sloping W's on both the top and the bottoms. That being said, I mean, it's all about adding confluence, right? You guys, like, I like noticing which way the buy and sells are trending. I like noticing which way the W's are trending. And basically, I like everything to kind of line up for an ideal situation, but you don't always get it. So that's where it's just about limiting your risk. Like I said, and like we just heard about with that Brett coin, and like any position I take, I'm so quick to start downsizing that position just to minimize my risk. I'm the kind of guy, it's kind of funny, like, a lot of people are scared to trade the 1 minute and stuff, and they're like, oh, trading the 4 hours, so relaxed. I'm the exact opposite. I am an emotional mess if I have a bunch of money on the line on a 4-hour chart, because for one, if I'm wrong, it's going to take a long time to get back into something new. And for another thing is the time for a swing trade to play out. There's a lot of outside factors that can technically happen. Yes, I typically feel the price action outweighs fundamentals and that sort of thing. But I really just feel a lot more relaxed if I can get into a position, start downsizing it quickly, and I can just relax that way. If I catch a runner, great. If not, whatever. I keep my invalidation levels tight. If I'm ever, I know one thing is you should never feel excited one way or the other. You know, if you make a good trade, you shouldn't be super excited, because that means you're probably over leveraged or your position size is bigger than it should be. If you're upset about a loss, you definitely put too much money on the line. That's all there is to it. You should never be upset about a loss. I understand it can be upsetting as well. I understand being disappointed. I understand it being upsetting if you take a series of losses, because then it starts getting frustrating and you're in a bad spot emotionally and just second guessing everything then moving forward. But as far as just a basic setup, like if we lose this trade that I just took, I don't care if this gets stopped out. I really don't. Looks like we're trying to flip that. Yeah, I mean, this is just a perfect example live of, you know, pulling those fibs and why I have an invalidation level and keeping my stop loss a little loose. This is just a perfect example here. Even if this works against us and, you know, eventually this loses momentum and drops, you can see there's a very obvious level of interest here. Even if I lose this trade, I have zero regrets, because yeah, it's obviously a level of interest, right? And the trend is to the upside. So I'll still be looking for a long if this gets stopped out. I might not take one until I see a higher buy signal or something like that, and then look for an entry. But as it stands right now, I'm still very much so favoring the bulls. And like I was talking about earlier on the longer time frames, I will be taking shorts, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I was taking some yesterday. I might take some tonight. But as far as an overall view of the market, I am mostly interested in longing this market for probably the majority of 2024. Thump, if that was for me, I'm using 69x right now, so it'd be about an 8% loss if I take the loss. I mentioned earlier I closed a quarter of my position, so it'd actually only be about a 6% loss on my initial position, which a 6% loss at 69x, I am not too worried, because if this thing, even if we retest, let's say even TP2, I mean, what would that be? That would be closer to 25-ish%, something like that. Let's see how bad my math is. That's 8.37 times 69. Oh, not bad. 25.5%. If we get back up to that level, obviously. So, man, we just can't flip that line though, hey? We're just really having a hard time breaking that trend. We are mooning tonight. Hey, I'd accept that. Like I said, I'm gonna be looking for longs. I really feel like there's a looming upside move, whether it's today, tomorrow, the end of the weekend. Anyways, guys, I should wrap up here. I was really hoping this would do something more exciting quickly. I was thinking I'd either be stopped out in a minute or taking profits within a few minutes. And it's just kind of trading sideways at support here. So we're just going to have to see what happens from here. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I always love having you guys here. I appreciate every one of you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic Easter. Have a good long weekend. Like I said, I think that's all I wanted to go over. So hopefully you guys found this stream useful. If you did appreciate my insights, it would do me a huge favor if after I get this uploaded, if you went to my YouTube channel and like this video. Should be within a couple hours. For those of you watching this on my YouTube channel a little later, if you're interested in some of my favorite indicators, plus access to the VIP Discord here, which has, has these live streams, has people discussing how they use the indicators, that sort of thing, trade setups, that sort of stuff. If you appreciate live streams such as these put on by not only myself, but also a handful of very knowledgeable traders in the group, as well as if you need access to a no KYC crypto exchange, I've got a couple links in the description down below. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.